Imagine living in a picture-perfect Portland home, where every dinner is served on time, every laugh with friends feels warm, but a quiet distance grows between you and the person you love most. Now picture a stranger stepping into your life, revealing cracks you tried to ignore. This is Sarah's story, a roller coaster of heartbreak, betrayal, and the courage to find herself again. Grab a coffee, settle in, and let's dive into a tale that'll make you laugh, cry, and cheer for the power of self-love. In the heart of Portland, Oregon, nestled among the craftsman homes of the Laurelhurst neighborhood, 36-year-old Sarah Mitchell stood at her kitchen island, slicing tomatoes for dinner. The scent of basil and garlic filled the air, mingling with the soft patter of rain against the windows. Her life, from the outside, was a postcard. A cozy home with ivy climbing the porch, 2 kids, Liam, 10, and Sophie, 6, and a husband, Ethan Carter, whose easy smile still charmed friends at backyard barbecues. But beneath the surface, a fog had settled over their 12-year marriage, thick enough to blur the warmth they'd once shared. Sarah, a graphic designer who crafted vibrant book covers for a local publishing house, used to revel in the little things with Ethan. He'd slip handwritten notes into her lunchbox, "You're my favorite adventure," or wait outside her studio in the Pearl District, umbrella in hand, to walk her home through Portland's drizzle. Now their conversations were mechanical. "How was your day?" At breakfast. "Early meeting tomorrow." At bedtime. They still slept in the same bed, ate at the same oak dining table, and laughed at game nights with friends. But Ethan's gaze no longer lingered on her. It was as if she'd become part of the furniture, familiar, but unnoticed. Sarah tried to brush it off. She told herself marriage ebbed and flowed, that raising kids and juggling careers left little room for romance. Liam's soccer games and Sophie's ballet recitals kept her busy, and her work, designing covers for thrillers and romances, gave her an outlet for the dreams she'd tucked away. But deep down, she felt like a ghost in her own life, present but unseen. Then came Lily Harper, a 22-year-old housekeeper recommended by Sarah's friend Rachel, who swore Lily was a godsend. Quiet, polite, and meticulous, Lily arrived each morning with her dark hair tied back, her movements as soft as the jazz playlists she hummed along to. She dusted shelves, folded laundry with hospital corners, and left dinners simmering on the stove, chicken pot pie, lasagna, or creamy mushroom risotto, that made the house smell like a hug. Sarah felt a weight lift. She could focus on deadlines without worrying about the chaos of home. Lily worked in silence, never prying, never judging the crayon marks on the walls or the occasional wine glass left by the sink. At first, Lily's presence was a balm. Sarah would leave for her studio, sketching covers for novels about forbidden love or high-stakes heists, while Lily transformed the house into a sanctuary. But after a few months, small things began to catch Sarah's eye. Ethan, who spent evenings glued to his laptop, would glance up when Lily passed through the living room, his eyes tracking her for a split second before returning to his screen. It wasn't obvious enough to call out, but it happened too often to ignore. Sarah's stomach knotted, a flare of unease she couldn't shake. One stormy afternoon, while vacuuming under the living room couch, Sarah's fingers brushed against something small, a cream-colored button, delicate and out of place. It didn't match her wardrobe, Ethan's, or the kids'. Her heart thudded as she slipped it into a drawer, telling herself it was nothing, a stray piece from a guest's coat maybe. But the button sat there, a tiny question mark she couldn't voice aloud. Speaking it would mean admitting the fog was more than just distance. The unease grew sharper as Sarah began to notice other details. Ethan's phone buzzed with late-night dings he'd silence quickly. Lily's quiet demeanor softened around him, her cheeks flushing when she handed him coffee. One evening, Sarah came home early from a meeting canceled due to the rain. The front door was unlocked, and laughter, light, unguarded, drifted from the kitchen. She'd never heard Lily laugh, not in the 7 months she'd worked there. It was a sound too familiar, too free, lacking the formality Lily used with Sarah. Sarah slipped off her boots and moved quietly, pausing behind a wooden partition. The clink of spoons against mugs filled the air. "You're hilarious," Lily said, giggling. Ethan chuckled, his voice warm in a way Sarah hadn't heard in years. Sarah's chest tightened. She stepped into the kitchen, forcing a smile. "Hey, I'm home!" Ethan flinched, his mug clinking against the counter. Lily's eyes darted to the floor. "You're early," Ethan said, his tone casual but rushed. "Traffic was light," Sarah lied, glancing at Lily. "Smells amazing in here. New recipe?" "Just something I found online," Lily mumbled, busying herself with a dishcloth. They recovered too smoothly, but Sarah's heart wasn't fooled. This wasn't jealousy of a younger woman. It was envy of the life Ethan seemed to save for someone else. The signs piled up. Ethan adjusted his shirt before leaving rooms where Lily was. Lily's gaze dropped quickly when Sarah looked her way. One night, at a dinner with friends in a trendy Selwood restaurant, Ethan played the perfect husband, pulling out Sarah's chair, ordering her favorite Pinot Noir, but his eyes wandered, unfocused. Their laughter felt hollow, a performance for the table. Later, stepping out of the bathroom, Sarah saw Ethan's phone light up on the nightstand. A string of numbers, unsaved, flashed with a message. "Washed the sheets again like you said. I'll be more careful next time." Sarah froze. She'd changed the sheets herself the day before. Her hand trembled, dropping the towel, not because she was certain, but because she no longer needed to be. The phone had no password, no attempt to hide, a betrayal so careless it assumed she wouldn't dare look. Sarah didn't cry. She didn't scream. She placed the phone back and walked to the backyard, where Lily was hanging laundry under the porch light. The young woman froze, her eyes wide. Sarah's voice was calm. "Lily, if you need time off, just tell Ethan. With me, you don't have to say anything." Lily nodded, her gaze heavy with unspoken truths. No excuses, no denials. That night, Sarah didn't sleep beside Ethan. She retreated to her home office, pulling out an old journal from their early years. Its pages brimmed with dreams, plans for a family, a trip to Yellowstone, a life of laughter. She didn't blame the past, but she knew it was time to write a new story, one that began with her. The next morning, Sarah brewed 2 cups of coffee, one for her, one for Ethan. He sat at the kitchen table, scrolling his phone, the silence between them heavy. "Do you have something to say?" she asked softly, not out of forgiveness, but because she refused to be another quiet figure in their marriage. He didn't look up at first. After a pause, he said, "I didn't think you knew." Sarah nodded. "I knew before I was sure." She sat across from him, the table's width feeling like a canyon. "Did you ever wonder why I didn't make a scene?" He stayed silent. "Because I wasn't trying to fix you," she said. "I needed to learn something for myself, that love doesn't thrive in silence, and I can't keep sacrificing me to save us." His eyes met hers, not with guilt, but with a flicker of understanding. "What do you want?" he asked. "Clarity," Sarah said. "I want us to stop, not out of hate, but because I can't live with someone who crosses lines and thinks I won't notice. And I don't want Liam and Sophie growing up thinking love means staying quiet." Ethan's hands tightened around his mug. No arguments, no pleas, just a nod. "I'll stay until you find a place," Sarah said. "And I hope Lily isn't the only one you owe an apology to." She stood lighter than she'd expected. A month later, Sarah moved into a sunny apartment in Portland's Alberta Arts District, with exposed brick walls and room for her kids' laughter. There were no tears, no drama, just a woman who'd Far walked enough to know forgiveness didn't mean staying, and staying didn't mean love endured. Sarah didn't blame Lily. She was young, swept up by attention from a man who should have known better. She didn't resent Ethan. Resentment would only trap her in his story. Instead, she poured her energy into her designs, her kids, and herself. She started journaling again, not about dreams lost, but about dreams reclaimed. A solo hike in the Columbia River Gorge, a new book cover that won an award, a life where she felt seen. This isn't a tragedy. It's a reminder. Betrayal doesn't start in stolen moments. It begins when glances linger, when messages go undeleted, when distance in love is filled with distraction instead of connection. If you're in a relationship, don't wait for hurt to wake you up. Listen to the quiet before it screams. And if you feel alone at home, know that strength isn't silence. It's the courage to speak or walk away. Sarah doesn't know what's next, but she's not afraid. She's found what she lost first, her worth. And if you see yourself in her story, you're not alone. The most powerful love story begins when you come home to you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for latest uploads.